Now let's continue. Fear of failure. Now, can we talk about something that really messes with people when they learn anything, especially a language? Let me guess, the fear of getting it wrong. Yes, that little panic voice that says, don't speak unless you're perfect. So you just say nothing. The fear is so common but also so dangerous because the truth is that you can't grow without making a mistake. Yes, but more of us were taught to avoid mistakes. Like red marks on a test mean you're failing at life. Exactly. And that's where positive thinking come in. It doesn't mean pretending mistakes are fun. It means seeing them as a necessary step. Necessary steps, not final judgment. I like that. So instead of thinking I failed, you say that was one more rep at the gym. Yes, because the people who succeed aren't always the most talented. They are the ones who can handle failure and come back again. Sound like something we should be taught in school right after math and before exams? Honestly, yes, because if you can't tolerate failure, you will quit early. But if you see a failure as feedback, you stay in the game longer, and the longer you stay, the more likely you win. It creates long-term motivation, not the hype but fake it till you make it kind. So if you're learning English and keep messing up, congrats. That means you're learning correctly. Self-compassion. You know what's funny? We talk about so much of failing, trying again, learning, but we never ask, what do we say to ourselves after we fail? Good points. Most people blame themselves, and that mindset doesn't push you forward, it pushes you under. So even when we keep going, we're dragging all of that shame behind us, right? And that's why self-compassion is so important. Wait, self-compassion? Isn't that just being soft on yourself? That's a common myth, but real self-compassion is actually brave. It means looking at your failure. It means looking at your failures and still choosing kindness. Sounds way harder than blaming yourself. It is, but also much more powerful. Kristen Neff research in 2003 showed that people who practice self-compassion have less anxiety, less depression, and more motivation. So being nice to yourself helps you do better? Exactly, because when you treat yourself like an enemy, you fight against your own mind. But when you treat yourself like a friend, even when you're struggling, you heal faster. That actually makes sense. Like if someone else messed up, I'll say, it's okay, you're learning. Of course, it has to be learning from the mistake and growing from it. But when I mess up, I say to myself, nice job, loser. Harsh, but common. So, the practice is simple. First of all, catch the voice. Secondly, ask, would I say this to someone I care about? If not, change it. You know what? Not exactly harder than grammar, but way more important in the long run. Here's some important thing. Even when we start being kinder to ourselves, it's still easy to get tired. Tired of the effort, tired of showing up, trying, repeating the same things and not seeing much change. And that's where a lot of people just quietly stop. Not because they don't care, but because they think the effort isn't worth it anymore. That's why I think we need to talk about something people often overlook. That's the ability to keep going when the reward aren't instant. Patience. Not only patience, more like staying loyal to the process even when you feel like nothing working. Do you mean like people who study for 2 years and still struggle with basic conversation? Yes. When they don't get it fast, they think something is wrong with them. Process often feels like nothing till it doesn't, until one day you understand a sentence without thinking, or speak without planning every word in your head. And you can always see when that moment is coming. So the only thing you can control is whenever you keep showing up, right? And that's where a positive mindset helps. Not in the everything is great way. It is in the I don't have to be great yet. I just have to keep going kind of way. That helps quieter than motivation, but maybe stronger. That's the kind of mindset that helps you through month 3 or year 2 when no one's sharing and it's just you and your notebook and a really slow podcast. This one, not that slow, I hope. Just slow enough to learn from and yeah, chill, fair. Thank you for listening. So this is the end of the podcast today. Thank you for listening. I have put the link below. Thank you for listening. This is part 2. If you want to listen to part 1, go to my channel.